Can you hear me over on TikTok this morning? Hey, Sarah, good morning. All right. Welcome, everybody. So, this morning I am working on a little baby blanket. I started this over the weekend, and it's just going to be some little stripes, pink and white. It's a really easy 2-row repeat. I'm doing a row of single crochets, which you can see here, and then I'm doing a row of half double crochets. Really easy pattern, nice and simple. And then I'll put some kind of a ruffle border on this. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to exactly put on it, but I'm sure whatever I come up with will be pretty darn cute. So the yarn that I'm using this morning, y'all are going to hate me because it's been discontinued. And this yarn has traveled miles with me. I've had this in my stash. It's called Bernat Baby Coordinates. And I did put a link on the link tree for something that's similar that you can get at Herschners. But I don't know how many years I've had this. Well, I know it's been quite a while. I got divorced in 2010. And this yarn traveled with me through the divorce to my new apartment, then to a new house in Arizona. And then it traveled from Arizona all the way to Alabama. And I've got several different colors of this yarn in my stash. And I thought, well, I haven't used this in a while. Let's drag it out and make a new baby blanket. So anyhow, like I said, I don't remember how long ago this has been discontinued. I think you can still find some of it on Etsy that people have kind of in their stashes, but it had a really pretty light yellow. It also had a lavender color. I've made blue. I've done a number of baby blankets with this yarn. It was really it was one of my favorites back uh, in 2010 or before that. So anyhow, I did put a link to Herschner's site. Herschner's has something that's similar. The difference is the pink is a darker pink. This is definitely a softer pink than what the Bernat was. So anyhow, I hope you all aren't hating me too bad for sharing discontinued yarn with you. But like I said, there is something close. So what I'm doing is I'm just alternating 2 rows of the color, and then I'm doing 2 rows of the white. So you can see here I did the first row was a single crochet, and then I'm doing the half double crochet. So just very small, tiny stitches. I'm using a size G hook, but basically what I'm doing is I'm skipping a stitch, and then I'm going into the next stitch and I'm putting a half double crochet. And then in that same stitch, I'm putting another half double crochet. Then I skip one into the next, half double crochet. Here's number 2 half double. So super, super easy. And then I skip one into the next. We'll put 2 more half double crochets. So one of the things when I make my baby blankets, I do like to keep the stitches pretty simple. I just feel like sometimes if you keep the stitches kind of easy and simple in the middle of your blanket, then when you go to put on the edging of your project, the border, if you will, um, it really allows the border to kind of be the star. And the other thing I like to do with my baby blankets is I like to try to keep the holes small. And so as I'm thinking about a stitch to do, I don't want a bunch of big holes. Like here, we were working on this yesterday. I was working on a little bit this morning, but see how there's big holes in something like this? You don't want a baby's little hand to somehow go through those holes and get kind of stuck. So that's what I'm looking for when I try to choose my check mic. Sound is crackling bad. Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to reboot my mic. 1 second, folks. Okay, I've reconnected the mic. Let me know if that sounds any better. Hopefully it sounds all right over on YouTube. For those that don't know, I'm both live on YouTube and over on TikTok this morning. So welcome everybody. Anvil, does my mic sound any better now over on TikTok? Hopefully it's, oh, good. Sounds much better. Sometimes these mics can be a little squirrely. So thank you for letting me know. I would hate for you guys to have to listen to me ramble on for an hour with a crackly mic. That would be super annoying. I probably wouldn't watch somebody that was like that. So thank you so much. Hey, there's Texas Whiskey this morning. Jess is here this morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday here. The sun is shining in Alabama, so that's a plus for me. I've gotten my yarn balls all tangled up here. Hang on, I lifted them up to show you all, and now my yarn's twisted. I got to regroup here. Give me 1 second. Things are not flowing. We can't have that this morning. It'll wreck my rhythm. I am carrying the yarn on this project, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that as well. That's an extra set of glasses. I don't know why I have those up here. Okay, let's see. These kind of get twisted when you're carrying them if you're not careful here. And I just kind of threw it to the side last time I was working on it. Okay, here we go. I think we're better now. Oh shoot! Now I knocked my phone. Sorry, y'all. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, let me get reset up here. So anyhow, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully I didn't get my placement off too soon. Bewitched, good morning. Texas Whiskey said she might have torn her rotator cuff. Oh no. That is terrible. I love how this yarn has these little like sparkles in it. I think that just looks so cool. It gives it a nice little texture. I don't know why they discontinued this yarn. I know it was on the market for a really long time, like years, you know. So maybe they just got tired of it, but I always really liked it. Has anybody else used yarn like this, or actually this yarn? Like I said, this yarn has been through a lot. It has. If only this yarn could talk, right? My house tried to eat me. Oh no. So this yarn it has been discontinued, but it is called Bernat Baby Coordinates. And for those that weren't on at the very beginning, I said this yarn, like I said, if this yarn could talk, this yarn has seen many things and been many places. So I got divorced in 2010. I'm remarried now, but this yarn went with me through the divorce. It moved to my new apartment as a single. This is the white. And it moved into a new house in Arizona, and I lived there for a while in the stash. And then after that, we moved to Alabama. So this yarn has traveled from Arizona to Alabama. And yeah, it's been through it. So anyhow, I've had it for a number of years, as you can obviously over 10 years. I know that for sure. And I don't know, I was just in my yarn room the other day and it spoke to me and I said, well, I'll bring it out. Now, I did put a link on the link tree. Herschners has something that's very similar. It's their Bernat Baby, it wasn't Bernat, it's the Herschners Baby Sparkle. And I have used that before on the live. You guys have seen me make some projects with it. The difference between what I'm using today and the Herschners is their pink color, this little pink, is a more rosy, darker pink. But it definitely has these little like sparkles in it, the same as the same as this Bernat does. So anyhow, it's just a fun little yarn to use. It's something different. Hey Marissa, good morning. For those that don't know, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. I'm not a professional crocheter. I'm just a hobby crocheter, and I come on here and share the projects that I'm working on. And you guys get to hear my crazy, nonsensical Alabama craziness stories. So, anyhow, I do put links on the link tree every time I come live. And there's a link to this stitch that I'm doing today. This stitch I learned from Creative Grandma. And I love Creative Grandma and the Cody Show. Cody has joined up with her. And it's a very simple 2-row repeat. So you can see here I've done a row of single crochets. Now I'm doing a row of half double crochets, and I skip a stitch. Into the next stitch, I put a half double crochet. Into this same stitch, I put another half double crochet. So 2 half doubles into a stitch, then I skip a stitch, and into the next, I put 2 half double crochets. So very, very easy, very beginner friendly. Skip a stitch. Into the next stitch, we do a half double crochet. And here is number 2 half double crochet. And I'm just alternating that. Skip one, into the next, 2 half double crochets. Very, very easy. And I put the link to the stitch tutorial if you want to make this at some point. But like I said, excuse me, the pattern is by Creative Grandma. And I think it was stitch pattern it was one of her stitch of the weeks. I think it was number 73. But you would have to look on the link tree. And it's called Grandma's 2-Stitch. She said she didn't know the name of it. I think she made up that name, but it's Grandma's 2-Stitch. And she has a tutorial of how to do this if you want to come back and watch it later. But I just wanted something really nice and simple. When you're working with textured yarn like this, where it's got the little sparkles in it, I feel like you need kind of a really simple pattern. If you start getting the stitches too complex, too textured in the stitches, it will detract from the yarn itself. And so I tried several different patterns, and I finally decided this would be the stitch to maybe do this. Now I have made little baby granny squares with this yarn, and it worked perfectly fine. But you do need something a little not so fancy and showy, kind of a little simpler of stitch. And I think it really shows up nice, the yarn itself. And like I said, I am carrying the pink yarn with me. And so I'll show you guys when I get to the end how I carry the yarn. So the way that I do this stitch, we're going to skip one into the next. We're going to do what's called a half double crochet. So I have the loop on my hook. I yarn over and wrap my yarn around once. Then I look for the stitch. Whenever you're looking for the top of the stitch, it's a little harder to see with this shine, but you have 2 little loops, and it looks like a little sideways V. So you can kind of see it there. I'm going to put my hook underneath those 2 bars, and then I grab a loop. Now you would yarn over. I do my loops. I do my yarn overs incorrect. I've done it that way for years, but I'm going to show you the right way. So you yarn over, you put the yarn on top of your hook, and then you bring it through that hole and draw up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I'm going to take that back out because the way that I do it, after crocheting for 40 years, it's hard to teach this old dog new tricks. So I yarn over, I go down into the space. Instead of yarning over, I put my hook through like this and I grab a loop, and then I pull it up. And I don't know if that's technically is that a yarn under at that point? Yes, because see how the yarn is on the bottom side of my hook? A yarn over, it would be on the top. So by grabbing it, I pull it through. That's technically a yarn under, but I still pull through all three. I've said it before. There is no rules in crochet. I mean, there's some guidelines, right? When I learned to crochet 40 years ago, there wasn't any internet. There wasn't other people to watch. I learned from my mom and my grandma. I don't know if Mama Wheeler is on here yet this morning, but I learned from her and my grandma. And we didn't have real extensive discussions about yarn over and yarn under. We just kind of did it. And so anyhow, after 40 years, I do a yarn under, and I'll tell you what, guys, I'm not changing. Call the crochet police, fire up the sirens, get the handcuffs. I'm not changing. I don't think it matters. I think as long as you are consistent with what you're doing, it will not make a difference in your crochet. Junk Trunk, yeah, the fair went really, really well. I entered a total of, let's see, 6, 7, 8. I entered a total of 9 items in the county fair this year, and I received 6 blue ribbons, 2 second place red ribbons, and 1 third place white ribbon. And I also received the best of show. So the best of show I got for the market bag. So you guys remember this little market bag that we made? I got the best of show for this project. So anyhow, that was the winner. I have more of these I need to make. I need to work on the little baby version of this for my niece for Christmas. This is the little baby one. I still have to do these handles. This is going to be on the live at some point, how I do this right here, because I have to work on this before Christmas. You can see this. So this is for my niece. She has a daughter that's like 3, I think. And this is her little mommy and me set for Christmas. I thought it would be really cute. And so anyhow, I've got this all finished. This one I still have ends to weave in. You can see there my least favorite thing. But this one's all done. So anyhow, this was the winner of the fair. But my mosaic blanket got first place in the Afghans. I entered a bedspread. That one got first place. The baby rattle got first place. The baby blanket, the rosebud baby blanket received first place. And I know I still owe you guys videos of the rosebud baby blanket. I need to get back on that. I kind of took a little break. I was tired of it. It's hard for me to go right back and work on the same exact pattern again. But I do have that on my to-do list. So I will definitely get back to that at some point. I know people wanted to make that rosebud baby blanket. And I entered a little dinosaur baby hat. That received first place. My embroidery was third place. The little ghost, remember the ghost that we did on the live? The little amigurumi ghost? That got second place. The first place that won was the pumpkins. You guys, we made the pumpkins on the live, and there was another lady here in our town or county, and she entered the little triple stack of pumpkins, and that's what won first place. I thought that was so, so cool. Her pumpkins were way better than my ghosts, so I thought that was like completely accurate. And then what else did I enter? The market bag got first place and best of show. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyhow, it was a good year this year. I hate weaving in ends. Smokey's wife, I'm right there with you. It is horrible. Hannah said she hates weaving in ends too, and I always tell myself, I'm going to be good. I'm going to weave in ends, and then what do? Just like always, I don't weave in the ends. Okay, so I'm coming up on the end here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm obviously changing yarn here, right? I'm going pink, white, pink, white. But as we're talking about weaving in ends, do you see any ends on my project here? You don't. And that is because I'm carrying the yarn up. So see this little strand here? See how I have two? This pink is where I left off of the row below. So there's a couple different ways you can carry your yarn up the side, and I'll kind of show you what I like to do. Now I am going to be putting an edging on this blanket, so you can kind of see here. See how this stitch is here? This is where I'll wrap my edging around. So along this side, there's one stitch. This here is my two half doubles. You can kind of see them. So I basically finish with a half double. Now into this edging over here, we need to put a just double crochet. So, or excuse me, a half double crochet. So you can see I have the 3 loops on my hook. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sneak that out of there. And this pink yarn, see how it's way down low? You could just bring it up like this and incorporate it into what you're working on. Okay. You could be here like this. Bring up your pink, switch from your, I know it's kind of hard to see the color difference, but I have the pink in my hand now. And you could just bring this through and resume your pink. But do you see how it leaves this huge loop here? I hate that. I don't like that. That is not pleasing to me. So I kind of get this started and I leave these loops hanging loose. Then where this pink is, I go in the side here and I draw up a loop and I basically pull it up a little higher. Take that out. Now I go back into my little white stitches here and I stick this pink one on the very end. Now I still have my pink yarn here in my hand and I'm going to pull through all of those. So what that did is now I no longer have that huge gaping side carry. And now I've dropped my white. My white is dangling here. I'm working with my pink. And now I'm ready to start on my next row. My next row is a row of single crochets. So I do a chain one, and now I'm going to turn my work. And now I'm going to carry on with my pink. So into the first stitch, I do a single crochet, and I just keep working single crochets the whole way across. And then when I get back to this edge, here's my white, just kind of chilling here. I will do the exact same thing. I'll kind of bring him up and tuck him in. And anyhow, that way you can see this is nice and smooth. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but it's nice and smooth. And I don't have a bunch of like strings. Now you can kind of see like here's one here, right? And here's one here, but they're not as gaping big as they would be normally. And I'm going to be coming in here, right, along this side and putting my border. So all that's going to get covered up and kind of sucked in, but it does make it a little nice of a seamless edge where you don't have those big, but you could just bring it up and pull it through. That would be fine too, however you feel comfortable with. But that's kind of how I do it. I like to have it nice and kind of clean and straight. So there's my little trick. Smokey's wife said, I never thought to do that. That is a great way to carry the yarn. Yeah, it's just kind of a little cheat, right? Just kind of a way to tuck it in, I guess. And, it works. And I like the edges to be nice and straight. I mean, it gets covered up, so it's really not that critical, but I am a little bit of a perfectionist. I'm sure y'all have picked up on that. So anyhow, good morning, everybody. We have 5 people watching over on YT. Welcome. I would love it over on YT if you could give that video a thumbs up and let me know if you're liking what you're seeing this morning. Over on TikTok, it looks like we've got around 100-ish. And I see all the little hearts flying up the side of the screen. Thank you, everybody, this morning for tapping your screen and sharing a little love this morning. For those that are new to my channel, my name is April, and I just come on here and do a little crocheting with my friends. And we have a fabulous group of folks here. There's links on the link tree for the stitch that I'm doing today. It is a very easy 2-row repeat, and I'm just working on a little baby blanket. And I don't know, I kind of feel in my element when I work on baby blankets. They are hands down my most favorite thing to do. I think because of the pretty colors I get to do, and they're very delicate. I like using small crochet hooks. Today I'm using a size G6 hook, and I just like doing the small stitches, and I don't know, it just really, I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. I do other things as well. If you're new to my channel, I saw somebody just gave a follow. Welcome, welcome. So you may ask, well, what the heck does she do with all these baby blankets? So we do have some family members that are having babies and friends and stuff, but my sister-in-law, my husband's uh, sister, she is a NICU nurse down in Florida. And she's at a pretty big hospital. They have a lot of babies in their NICU, and they have a blanket program. And one of the things I do is at the end of the year, I usually see her kind of between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I kind of gather up all of my extra blankets that haven't found homes for the year, and I send them with her down to the NICU. And she will give them to the families there around Christmas and whatnot. So they don't go to waste. And that's one of the ways that I like to kind of give back. And it's kind of an outlet that allows me to do the thing I love and have a nice way to keep the projects moving, I guess you could say. um, so that's what I like to do with my little baby blankets. But I make a number of different patterns. And I was watching YouTube's yesterday while I was at work. One of my favorite things to do is I just kind of let YouTube run in the background, and I watch different stitches, right? And I learn different stitches and think how I can incorporate those into a baby blanket. And that's what this stitch is. I don't know that she intended this to be a baby blanket stitch, but this I watched on Creative Grandma. And I like watching Glenda and Cody. They're one of my favorite little characters. And, Glenda does the stitch of the week. And I have learned so much from Creative Grandma. I'm sure others on here have as well. But anyhow, yesterday I was watching their live over on YouTube while I was at work and listening to Cody ramble. Grandma was at the doctor's appointment, and I was learning about Pokemon cards from Cody. He's so funny. So I get a kick out of the two of them. But anyhow, I digress. This is Grandma's Stitch of the Week, and I believe it's number 73. But there are links on the link tree. It's a very easy 2-row repeat, and she called it Grandma's Two Stitch. I don't know that it necessarily had a name or anything, but basically, I'm doing a row of single crochets. You can kind of see them there as I'm working along. And then I'm going to come back, and you can kind of see this more textured row we just finished, and that is half double crochets. So it's very, very easy pattern. Last week I was sick and not feeling well, and I thought, I just need something easy this week. I don't want to do a lot of thinking. I don't want to do a lot of counting. I don't want to learn new stitches. I just need to woosah, chill, and have some easy, non-stressful projects. Not that crochet really stresses me out. It's kind of a relaxing thing for me. But you know how you get in those grooves where you kind of just need something that's, not as, um, where you just don't have to think, right? I don't want to have to be counting as much. I just wanted to kind of chill. And that's kind of what this pattern, why I started this. And I had finished my other baby blanket. I finished the elephant blanket. I've got that here still. Um, so here's the elephant blanket. I finished this. This is the edging. We worked on this edging on the live. I'll eventually have a a full tutorial of this little ruffle edging. It's bigger than the normal edging that I do, but we finished this last week, and I finished the elephant applique. So here's the little elephant that I did. Sorry on YT, it's kind of close. I put links on the link tree for this little guy, but I learned to make this from Craft and Crochet, and I just think it's super. It turned out really, really cute. The mama loves elephants, and I've never made one of these before, but I thought it worked up pretty cute and fun. So I've got to get this photographed this weekend and then get it sent off. And this is the Christmas ripple I'm working on. We're going to work on this tomorrow. This is the Hugs and Kisses chevron. So if you want to know how to work on the Hugs and Kisses, this is a pattern by the Crochet Crowd, and I'll work on this tomorrow on the live. So that's what's kind of coming. But I'm very familiar with the Hugs and Kisses blanket. I have made it a number of times. It's a very, very popular pattern. And I thought, oh, it'd be pretty as a Christmas blanket for my couch. So that's kind of what I'm doing. How many stitches would make an adult throw? Lisa, I'm not sure how many stitches, but what I do is I look for uh, there's size charts, and I don't have access to it right now, but it'll tell you if you want to make a throw blanket, it's 60 by whatever. If you want to make a queen size blanket, you would make it this size. A baby blanket, I do remember baby blanket. I try to keep those between 30 and 36. So get on the Google and look up crochet blanket sizes. It will pull up a chart for you. And if you find that, then I would just start chaining, and then I would measure my chain. So if I wanted it 60 inches, it depends on the size hook you're using. It depends on the gauge of yarn. This I'm using a size G hook, and my stitches are much smaller. So if I was making 60 inches wide, it would take a lot more chains of this than say what we were working on yesterday. This is a size I hook, and this is a 4-weight yarn rather than a 3-weight yarn, and you can see the stitches are bigger. So if I was doing 60 inches, it would take less chains of this size to get to the size that you need. So it's kind of about measuring, but most of the times on a pattern, if you're working on a specific pattern, it'll tell you how many chains. Now this particular pattern, if you look at the Creative Grandma, and there's a written pattern for this too. I didn't think to share that on the link tree. I just watched the video. It's such an easy repeat, but I think she said odd number of chains. I don't remember exactly what I started with on this. So, um, but when you're following the pattern, it'll tell you if you need how many to do, right? Like on the Hugs and Kisses, it tells you how many chains to start with. Or on the Modern Ripple, it said to do 12 increments of 12 plus 3 or something to that effect. So anyhow, each pattern is a little different. Queen says, I just do chains till I think it's long enough. Queen, I do the same, girl. I do the same. I just kind of go, and then that's what I did with this. I didn't measure this. I don't even know how big this is. Let's measure it. Hopefully it's not too big. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't measure it. I just kind of guessed. But we can measure it because now you got me curious what I'm working with here because I just eyeballed it. Okay, so I've got about 33 and a half. And I like to keep my baby blankets around 36 inches. So basically I can add, like a 3-inch border on this, and it'll be kind of in that range. So there you go. Not bad for eyeballing it, right? I don't know if you make some of this stuff over and over again, you just kind of get used to the size you need. But I know if you're a new crocheter, that doesn't come as easy. And, I was making the modern chevron. I made this with you guys last week. This is the garlic smelling yarn. Remember this one? This is a different one. This is the Modern Ripple. I started with 120 chains on this, and it was too wide. For a wheelchair blanket, lap blanket, you need 35 inches by 45 inches. And I ended up having to frog out what we did on the live, and that way I could size it smaller. So I ended up doing 108 chains on this instead of 120. So, that happens too. Sometimes adapt and overcome, right? If you've got to frog something, it's not the end of the world. Um, and that's what I did. Krista said, April, my microphone is crackling a lot. It's because I'm moving around. Okay, let's see if this is better. I'll try to hold still. Tell me if my microphone is better, guys. Sorry for the crackling. I feel like I need to get a little thing for it to clamp onto so it's not clamped on my shirt. That way when I'm wiggling around and showing you guys, it's not doing a lot of crackling. It's probably rubbing against my shirt or something. I need a better way. I need one of those. I watch Ryan Hall, y'all, for the weather, and he's got a big microphone that comes up in his face. That's what I need. But I don't know. I'm just sitting here on the couch and I've already got a lot of equipment in my face. So I don't know. I don't know how and I know that's plugged into a PC setup and I don't want to go on a PC setup. I know it's not super professional to, sit here and crochet in my lap, but guys, I'm not a professional crocheter. I'm just a hobby crocheter. And if I can't sit here in my chair with my blankie and crochet on the live, it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to start getting all professional and crazy with this. It's not in my nature. So you're right here in the living room with the blankie, with the crackly microphone as I'm wiggling around, grabbing stuff off the couch next to me to share it. And I don't know. I don't proclaim to be something that I'm not. Okay, we're getting close to the end over here. So I'm just going to keep working these single crochets. Here was our 2 half doubles. So I did 1, here's 2. Now this was our little chain up and we need to put a single crochet in this little guy too. And sometimes these can be a little tight. Now, if you're new to crochet, when you do this single crochet, now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And into the first stitch, I'm going to place a single crochet. Actually, that's going to count as my single crochet. So into this next stitch here, I'm going to do my 2 half doubles. But if you're new to crochet, this chain counts as your first single crochet. So what I would do if I'm just learning is I would put a stitch marker here. So that way, when I come back around, I know this is the original first stitch, and that'll make it easier for your identifier. Okay, so there's my little chain. That's where I'm going to be attaching my border. Now I did 1 half double. Now I need to do another half double into that same stitch. Now I'm going to skip 1, and into the next stitch, I'm going to do again 2 half doubles. Yeah, when I watch videos, I like to be able to see what people are doing. I like to watch how people are doing their stitches. That's how I learn, right? And a lot of times on the live, I'm not being critical of others, but when I watch people's lives, they have the camera pointed at them and I can't see what they're crocheting. And I find that I don't watch those lives as much because I may really like the person, right? I like hearing what they have to say, but I can't see what they're doing. I watch Mikey at the Crochet Crowd when he does his lives, and he has the camera focused on him. And, sometimes he's in development. Like, I get it, right? But I can't really see what he's doing. And so I like listening to Mikey, but it's not very educational for me at that point. And so when I come on live, I try to make it so that you guys can see what I'm doing, and that way I can help answer questions about the crochet and stitches and stuff. Especially when I'm doing more complicated patterns, I can kind of walk through what I'm doing. So here I'm skipping one into the next. I'm going to do a half double crochet, and then I'm going to put another half double crochet right into that same stitch. So I skip one and then I do a half double. If you want to know how to do a half double, if you're new, you wrap your yarn around your hook and then skip this one. Here's our little bars of our stitch. You can see there, it looks like a little sideways V. You put your hook underneath those two bars, and then you grab a loop, yarn over and grab a loop and pull it up. And then you yarn over and pull through all three. That is a half double. Now I do my crochets a little different. I'm going to pull that out. This is the wrong way to do it. Yarn over. I put my hook through. I grab it like this. It's faster for me. I learned a lot of years ago, 40, I've been crocheting for 40 years and I've developed bad habits. Back in the day, you didn't know that that was a yarn under and it didn't matter. But now everybody asks, is that a yarn over or yarn under? And anyhow, it's now I yarn over and pull through all three. So yeah, I'm kind of set in my ways, but um, to make my hand do a yarn over as I pull it through, my brain and hand are not that, it's not going to change after doing it for 40 years the wrong way. And it doesn't matter, like I said before, as long as you're consistent with how you do your stitches, nobody will be the wiser. Maybe some experts could look at it and say, oh, she yarned over, she yarned under. I don't think anybody pays that much attention. So how's Mama Wheeler today? How is Florida? You guys got sunshine down there? What's the weather like in Florida this morning? We've got sunshine here in Alabama, which I am loving. Man, yesterday was just beautiful outside. It really was a lovely, lovely day. Of course, I was at work, but I did wander out there and get some fresh air a couple times. And it was just nice and cool and really, really beautiful day. I love fall. It's one of the nicest times of year here in Alabama. All the leaves are changing. Let's see. Queen says, I'm doing Study of Snow Christmas Afghan. Ooh, nice, nice. I never thought about doing the Study of Snow for Christmas Afghan. I bet that looks beautiful. Let's see. Hannah said, I'm working on a scarf. Nice. Let's see. Arlene said, there's a pattern called Glorious Granny Stitch Tutorial with Fiber Spider. Oh, I'll have to check that out. A lot of people are working on Christmas projects, I think. Um, so my friend Amanda, I made a lot of amigurumi snowmen last year. I think I made 8 of them, but don't quote me on that. There may have been a few more. So anyhow, Mama Wheeler and we went on a cruise with my sister-in-law last year in December. And when we went on that cruise, I was working on these snowmen for everybody for Christmas, and I hadn't finished them, so I took them with me to Florida. We flew out of Nashville. My sister drove up from Pensacola. It's actually cheaper for my sister-in-law to fly from Nashville down to Florida than from Pensacola, Florida, down to where my mom was. Go figure. It's very weird. So she came up here to see her daughter, my niece, and the grandbaby. And then she stayed a couple days. And then we drove from here to Nashville and flew out of Nashville. And it was an eventful cruise trip, let's say this. So somehow we got our times like messed up for travel time, okay? And when we got into Nashville, the airport, if anybody's flown out of Nashville, it's always a hot mess. It's like construction galore. It's really obnoxious and annoying. So anyhow, she was trying to find a place to park, and the time is winding down. Of course, we're checking bags. We're going to be on the cruise for a week. and we had to get down to Mama Wheeler. So we were flying from Nashville down to Fort Lauderdale. I think that's the closest airport to Mama Wheeler. And then Mom and Papa Wheeler were going to pick us up at the airport in Fort Lauderdale, and we stayed a couple days there at their condo because I hadn't seen their place yet. And then we all went to Miami to get on the cruise. We did a Virgin cruise. And anyhow, so my sister and I were driving around the airport trying to find parking. Finally, she like kicks me out at the curb with the bags, and she says, "Just go get on the just go get in line. She has the frequent traveler thing. So she can like buzz through security because she's like, and I had to go through like full security. So anyhow, she's like, it's going to take you longer to get through security. Just go, go, go. So I checked my bags there at the curb, and then I went through security, and they were boarding. Okay. When we got they were boarding, and Marlena was trying to find a place to park, and we were just trying to get to the terminal and stuff. And I was trying to wait for her. And finally, she called me and she's like, "Just board. Just go ahead and board. Get on the plane." And she's like, "I'm rushing. I'm rushing. I'm trying to get through security." They held her at security. And so, anyhow, my sister missed the flight and she had to reschedule it. And anyhow, she ended up flying. She caught a later flight. She went from Nashville, I think, over to Missouri, maybe to St. Louis, and then I think she went back to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta, then she flew down to Fort Lauderdale. So she was a few hours behind us, behind me with the flight. So basically, I flew by myself down to Fort Lauderdale, and Mama and Papa Wheeler picked me up at the airport. But that's how our trip started. And anyhow, it wasn't a big deal. Like I said, she just got a little waylaid, and it actually worked out pretty good because I got to have some one-on-one time with, my parents, and visit with them and everything. And then we went back to the airport later that night and we picked up my sister. And then, so I think her flight got in. I think I originally got in like around 6. I think her flight got in like at 11 or something because she had been gallivanting around the country at this point. So anyhow, then we stayed a couple days and visited, and I worked on my little snowman there in Florida. And then we took a little shuttle there at my mom's place. They have some drivers that will drive you down to the cruise terminal. And so we all rode with the little shuttle dude down to Miami. And then we got on the Virgin cruise, and we had rough weather, and I was green the whole excursion. The ship was really rough. We were supposed to go to Bimini the final day, and my sister and I, we love to fish, and we were supposed to do a fishing charter. They ended up canceling Bimini completely. They rerouted us the opposite direction to avoid one of the storms. But I missed some dinners. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I was so sick. And I was taking Dramamine. I needed one of the little wristband things, but I didn't know. I have never been seasick before. I've been on lots of fishing charters. I've been down to Mexico. I've been to San Diego. I've been deep sea fishing in Alaska for halibut. I've had some big weather, but there was a lot of people on the ship that were sick as well. And it was one of those things when you're walking down the hallway of the ship, you're literally like weaving and like hitting. It's like you're intoxicated as you're walking. We were completely sober. It was just the ship was moving so much that it was like throwing you side to side as you're walking down the hallway. It was crazy. And the weather was so bad. Normally, the Virgin cruise, like up on the top deck, is where they have the swimming pool and they've got lots of bars up there and stuff. It was completely deserted. There was nobody that could stand to be out there because of the rain and everything. So, we made the best of it. But I had intended to work on these little snowmen on the cruise. And I can crochet through most things, but I got very little crocheting done on the cruise as well, just because I, if I sat up and crocheted, I got sick. And so a lot of times I just was laying down um, on the bed, trying to uh, not be sick. And so, anyhow, I did some more work on those in the airport, and then anyhow, then we were flying back out of Fort Lauderdale back to Nashville. And we got to the airport early because obviously we missed our flight on the first. So we thought, we're not going to have a repeat of this, right? We're going to be more disciplined. We're going to be good girls. We're going to get to the airport. I think we got to the airport a couple hours before our flight. And I told Marlene, I said, that's fine. I'll just sit here and crochet. She said, I'll read my book or something, but we didn't want to miss our flight again. Well, lo and behold, as soon as we passed through security at Fort Lauderdale, um, they uh, they shut down security at Fort Lauderdale. There was a scare, and I don't want to say it on my live because I don't know if it'll get flagged, but there was a bee threat, and they literally shut down the airport. So then our flight going back to Nashville was delayed a couple hours, but because we had made it through security, they ended up releasing the airplane and they did let us fly. And most of the people on our flight back to Nashville missed the flight because they never got through security because they had shut it down. But we were waiting for the stewardess and one of the captains to get through security. And then when they opened the airport, so that was our cruise experience. We missed our flight. The cruise was completely sick. And then we had that threat and the flight got delayed. I don't think we got back to Alabama until like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I had to work the next day. I was exhausted. But the benefit was I got lots of crocheting done, both on the flight and while we were sitting around in the terminal waiting for the airport to release the planes, because it wasn't just our plane. It was the entire airport got shut down. It was crazy, crazy. So yeah, Meme said, "Good morning, Meme." By the way, I posted a little picture of the snowman on the Discord yesterday. For those that aren't familiar, the Discord is our little chat server for our group, and you can join it by going to the link tree, but we have lots of crochet chat over there, and you can share pictures and your works in progress. Meme shared the other day her Christmas blanket that she's working on, and Pam shared her project. And anyhow, lots of stuff going on, and too many projects to share them all on the live because everybody's got lots of works in progress and lots of projects they're finishing. But if you want to get on the Discord, there's a link in the link tree and you can see my little snowmen. But I made all these snowmen for everybody else. So my friend Amanda, she shared pictures yesterday and she said, my snowmen are out. And she was so excited. She Skyped it to me. And so anyhow, I asked her if I could share it on the Discord. Sometimes Amanda comes on here. Her handle is Mandarina. And so anyhow, she said I could share on the Discord the snowmen because I made snowmen for all these other people and I didn't make any for myself. So this year I need to get on the live and make a snowman. Okay, so back to my little crochet project. You can see here I'm at the end. I've just finished my last 2 half double crochets. So what I need to do is I need to do another half double in this very last stitch here. Okay, so I work my little hook in here. Sometimes it's hard. These stitches kind of tighten up, so just try to work it in there as best you can. And now, one of the things, I'm not going to finish this stitch yet, okay? So I'm going to kind of remove my hook here, and I'll share with you why I'm doing this. So I am carrying my yarn up the side. You can see here, this is the white that we finished of these 2 rows below. And what I like to do, you can do this a couple different ways if you want to carry your yarn. The reason I'm carrying my yarn is I don't want to have a tail to weave in on every single one of these rows. I hate weaving in ends. So then what you could do is you could bring your white, and I know it's kind of hard to see these color differences. They're very close. And you would yarn over and pull your white through. Now I have switched to the white yarn. When you do that, you can see it puts this big loop here. And technically this is going to be covered up by a border. I'm going to put an edging on this. So it doesn't completely matter, but I am a bit of a perfectionist. And the way that I like to do this, instead of just pulling it up, I like to do a little side stitch here and kind of bring up a loop and close this gap. So I just find a little spot here on the side, kind of where this has been working. Okay. Then I draw up a loop of the white. So that helps to suck that stitch into this outer edge. Now I drop that loop. Now I'm going to go back and get these little guys that I had from before. And I put them all back on my hook. And then I put this other one I just made on my hook. And now I bring it through all of those. And what that does is now I no longer have that big gaping stitch right here. So it helps to hide that and tuck it in that little side edge so it's nice and uniform. Now here's my pink yarn here. I'm not using that anymore. I'm now working with this white, but I'm ready to start my next row. So there's my final half double crochet. And now my next row, I'm going to do single crochet. So I yarn over and I pull up a chain of 1. Okay. I just leave all those yarns connected and I turn my work. So here's my pink kind of hanging off here, but here's the white that I'm using. And this counts as, this does not count. I'm using this, I'm doing a single crochet in the first stitch out. So there's my first stitch. Now, if you're new to crochet and you have a hard time identifying that, what you can do and is put a little stitch marker in, and that will tell you that's where your first stitch is. Can you speak on making sure not to drop a stitch at the end and how to do that? Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm talking about now. So basically, when I am turning my work, you want to keep this side. Hang on, I don't want to lose this loop. This will be a big pain. So I'm basically doing 2 half doubles. You can kind of see them here. Here's the 2 half doubles. I still need 1 stitch here. So this is my final half double that I just did. Now I'm chaining 1, and that gets me to the next row. Then I turn my work. Now sometimes this will count as your first stitch. When I do single crochets, I like to put one in there. So that is my first stitch. Now the chain I'm not counting. And then I'll put in the little stitch marker there. So that is my first stitch. And then as I work along, I'm going to put a single crochet into each one of these stitches. So I'm just going to do a single crochet the whole way around. But that's what I recommend is using, if you're not familiar with and you have a hard time identifying, when I get back to this, it's going to be very obvious where my starting stitch was. So that's that. If you're new to crochet and you have a hard time seeing those, and sometimes I'll do it, I have a really hard time with hats. Really, really hard time with hats. And I will use my stitch markers for those because for whatever reason, I work the stitches like this up and down. And sometimes they get smaller on me. I don't know. I end up with it not being square, right? It starts to pull in. This is very square. But a lot of times with new crocheters, you'll have it kind of start to wander in. And so that's how I kind of work with that. It just kind of takes some practice, but the stitch marker is definitely your friend as you're learning to do this. So again, I'm just working a single crochet the whole way down. So this is technically a 2-row repeat. And I learned how to make this by watching Creative Grandma. I believe this is her stitch pattern number 73, her stitch of the week. And I put a link on the link tree to her YouTube tutorial. And she calls this Grandma's Two Stitch. So basically, it's very easy repeating row. It's a row of single crochets, and then it's a row of half double crochets, and you just alternate between the two. And then, of course, I'm changing the color. You don't have to change the color. You could do all white. You could do a continuous yarn, right? Something that's like a color changing yarn. Um, no, I'm not doing any back loops. I'm just doing a straight single crochet. So here is the top of the stitches here. You can see these two little bars. Those are the top of the stitches. I kind of pull them apart there. It looks like a little V. And so I'm just taking my hook and I go under those two bars, and then I pull up a loop. Now I do a loop. I do a yarn under instead of yarn over. I do it a little backwards. And then I yarn over and pull through too. You're going to have to call the crochet police on me. So anyhow, yeah, I've been doing yarn unders my whole life. And after 40 years, I am pretty set in my ways. But if you do a yarn over, yarn under, it doesn't matter. Just be consistent, right? So what we're talking about, guys, if you're new to crochet, when you go through your loops, you are supposed to yarn over. So you put the yarn over your hook. See how it's sitting on top of my hook? Then you pull through, and then you pull through two. I do it backwards, okay? So I go through and I grab it like this. I just grab it from below. Well, technically, if I turn that, you can see the yarn is underneath my hook. That is a yarn under. And then I pull it through and do my stitch. So the stitches do look a little different. So again, I don't think it matters. I don't think there's any rules in crochet, right? There's some guidelines. But for me, after doing it 40 years, I'm not changing. I'm not going to even try to make my brain do that. So I just do my thing. But as long as you're consistent, no one will be the wiser. Nobody's going to, call up the crochet police. They're not going to roll up in your living room and tell you, oh, you did a yarn under. Woo, get the handcuffs. It's just not going to happen. Uh, uh, Mama Wheeler says the crochet police says you go, girl. So I hope that helped. Does that make sense what I'm doing? What she was asking is if I was doing the back loop only, and this is a little hard to see with this yarn. Let me switch to this purple I've got here. This might make it a little easier to see on the live. Okay, so if I need a different hook here. This will be a little bigger and it'll be a little easier to see. Okay, so if I was to let me do a couple single crochets here. I'll rip this out. This is not what this project is. I want to get it lower. Okay, so you can see very clearly here, these are the two bars. These are the top of your stitches. See how they're a little V looking, like a sideways V? When you do a normal single crochet, you go underneath those two bars, and then you yarn over and pull your loop through, and then you yarn over and pull through both of them. That is a single crochet. What the question was is it a SCBL? And what that means is she's asking, is this a single crochet in the back loop only? So when you look at these top of the stitches, the one that is closest to you, this little guy here, that is called the front loop. The one that is facing away from me is the back loop. And so what she's asking is, am I doing a single crochet in the back loop only? The way that you would do that is, instead of going under both bars, I would go under just the back loop, grab a loop, pull it up, and then go through both. So that would be working in the back loop. I'll do a couple here and you can see the difference. When I'm working with the baby yarn, it's a little harder to see, but this purple should be really nice and obvious. Okay, so here is our normal single crochet. See them here under both? When you do the back loop only, it leaves this really cool ridge of texture. And so she was not able to tell if I was doing it in the back loop, but I'm not. I'm just doing under both. But that is basically to explain kind of what the question was. So anyhow, let me rip this back out, put my little stitch marker back in here. I hope that helped to answer. This little purple that we did yesterday, you can see I made a lot more progress on it. I'm working on a hexagon cardigan. And this purple is the Premier Gradient in the purple tones, but I got to the dark this morning. Pretty fun. Fun. So anyhow, I've got that in my lap. I've always got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, putting a stitch marker really helps. If you're new to crochet, when you first do your first turning row here, just pop in your little stitch marker, and that will really help to keep your edges square. And you can count these as you go along too. When I was first learning, I used to have a hard time. My blankets, basically, as you're crocheting along, right? This is the edge of my blanket. As I would get more and more and more, it would start to pull in, right? And basically what was happening is my stitch count was getting off. I would be losing a stitch when I turned my work, and that's what we're talking about. And so until I really grasped it, I would have to sometimes count these to make sure that I was not missing one of them when I was doing my turning chain. And that's why a lot of times when I do the turning chain, I'll chain the one, but I'll still do a single crochet in the first one. That way it's very easy for me to see where that stitch is. And that came because I used to mess my stuff up, right? It would get narrower, narrower, narrow. It's a very common problem to have. It's so if that's happening to you, don't fret. It happens, and it used to happen to me also. It took me a long time for my blankets to be able to be nice and square, and it was when I really started focusing on that turning chain and putting in the stitch marker. And for a while, I literally would count the rows because I would feel like it would start to pull in on me. And I was trying to identify where that was happening. Yeah, so the stitch markers, you can use kind of anything. Here's some other stitch markers that I have. I got these off Etsy. I bought them off of uh, what's her name? You guys know who makes these. I can't think of her name, but these are like little clips, right? Like little jewelry clips. These are little safety pins. Here's a lobster claw, right? So if you have even a necklace or something laying around the house, you could just take off the whatever the necklace part is and just use the lobster claw. So just kind of improvise with what you have. Um, uh, Yarn Tinka, Melody Yarn Tinka. She sells these on Etsy if you want fancy stitch markers. I just thought they were cute. I still am using my little plastic crappy ones, but whatever. Whatever works. But yeah, you could get these from Melody. She has fancy ones. There's a lot of people that sell fancy stitch markers. So, whatever works. But you could improvise too, like they said, a safety pin. Some people I've seen use a bobby pin as well. The little bobby pins for your hair. Just something that you can slide in there and mark your spot. It doesn't have to be top of the line fancy stuff. Just anything that you can make work. So that is my recommendation for that. But anyhow, I'm just working a very easy single crochet the whole way across here. Yes, Melody Yarn Tinka. Thank you, Kimberly. I love Melody. You guys should find her and follow her over on TikTok. She's a lot of fun. I really enjoy her. I like watching her lives. But that's where I got the stitch markers from. Is from Melody, supporting her channel. And speaking of supporting the channel, thank you guys so much for all the screen taps this morning. 8.8 thousand over on TikTok. And over on YouTube, we've got 7 people watching, and we've got a thumbs up over there. Thank you guys all for the support this morning. I hope you're enjoying this little baby blanket project. I know it's kind of a simpler stitch, but after being sick last week, I just kind of had to chill a little. So this is a chill week for me. Now tomorrow we're going to be back working on the Christmas ripple blanket, or excuse me, the Christmas chevron blanket. And it is the hugs and kisses pattern. So that's what's on deck for tomorrow. So I'm super excited to get back working on that. If you haven't seen the Christmas chevron, this is what it looks like. This is a pattern by the Crochet Crowd. It's got lots of fun textures. I'm on the green row here. So tomorrow when we start out, I think I finished all of the single crochet. So we're going to be doing bobble stitches tomorrow. So if you need help with your bobble stitch, that's what we're working on. First thing out tomorrow morning is a bobble stitch. So fun, fun. I'm excited. I really love the Hugs and Kisses blanket. It's intended to be a baby blanket, but a pattern, just because it's written for one thing, doesn't mean you can't use it for other things. Just earlier, somebody mentioned that they were doing the study of snow, which I've, of course, been working on the study of snow myself. And I made it into a kid blanket, but somebody else mentioned here they were doing a Christmas blanket with it. So, patterns can be used for anything. There's nothing that says you have to use necessarily the yarn that was recommended or any of that. So you can kind of adapt patterns. Patterns is a set of guidelines. I think their patterns are made to be adjusted and tweaked as I need. So you know me, I'm a rule breaker. Rule breaker. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the screen taps this morning. I really appreciate it. And I haven't been going live on YouTube very long. It's something that's kind of new. But one of the things I like about that is I'm able to publish the full live after the event. So if somebody wants to go back and watch it, if you missed it, you can find it over there later. But sometimes if you need to go back and reference some stitches or something, it's there after the fact. Now it usually takes a little bit. It takes like 24 hours for the video to process. So like yesterday's live, I haven't flipped the switch for it to be public yet. It's still, when I left it last night, it was still processing, but eventually it'll be there as well. So it's kind of a nice little way if you need to go back and reference something. But I am trying to do more over, excuse me, on my YT account. And I do need to spend some time making some videos, but my full-time job is really, really busy this time of year. And man, yesterday I don't know if Mama C is on here, but yesterday, yeah, at work, I just keep saying it every day is like crazy busy. And it was really stressful yesterday. There was just so much going on. And on days like that, this has been going on for a couple months, it's just busy. This time of year is just busy for us in general. But when I'm done with work, I'm done. I don't want to. I don't want to record videos. I don't want to do voiceovers. I don't want to adjust pictures. I don't want to take pictures. So all of that is really behind because my real job is, you know, got so much going on right now. So yeah, Mama C said it was brutal. Yeah, it was a rough day yesterday. So I don't know if today's going to be any better. I was looking at my emails this morning and it was already filling up pretty good. So anyhow, the A game. This yarn is actually discontinued yarn. Now, before you start yelling at me, because you really like it, I will share with you what it is. So this is Bernat Baby Coordinates, and this yarn has seen some miles on it. I had this yarn in my stash. Here's the white. So I got divorced in 2010. I'm remarried now. This yarn traveled with me out of my yarn stash in 2010 to my new apartment. And then I bought another house in Arizona and it made it traveled from the apartment to the house. And then we moved from when I got remarried, about 4 years ago, we moved from Arizona to Alabama. and it traveled from Arizona to Alabama, and I've had it in my stash. Like I said, I don't remember when the yarn was discontinued, but I've had it for a really, really long time. If this yarn could talk, kind of thing. It's seen a lot, this yarn has. And anyhow, it called to me the other day when I was moseying around in my yarn room looking for my next big adventure. And I did put a link on the link tree, even though Bernat does not make this yarn anymore. There is a Herschners product that is very, very similar. The only difference with the pink, their pink is a darker, rosier pink. This is a very pale pink. I put links on the link tree, but it's called Herschners Baby Sparkle. So it has these same little sparkle textures in it. See how you can kind of see those? I don't know if you can, if it is focusing properly, but it is a real sparkly kind of yarn, and I think it's really pretty. Now, when you use sparkle yarn like this, in my opinion, I think you need a very simple pattern, and that's why I'm just kind of doing this 2-row repeat. Basically, I'm doing a row of single crochets, and then we're doing a row of half double crochets. So I just need to I'm coming up on the end here, and we're going to turn our work. So here was our 2 half doubles. I just put in the 2 top stitches for that. Now here's our stitch marker. So this is telling me that this is our corner. So I can pop this out. And now I'm going to put a single crochet in that corner. Now I'm going to chain 2 because I'm going to do half double crochets on the next row. And then I can turn my work. And this chain is counting as my first half double crochet. Now into this next space here, I'm going to place 2 half double crochets. Now before I get too much farther, I'm going to pop in a stitch marker. Because this chain was my first stitch, I mark that as my starting one. So that way, as I work along, I'm going to be able to identify that, and I'm not going to lose a stitch and have my blanket start going in sideways. Okay, now into this same stitch here, I do another half double crochet. I'll show you guys how to make a half double crochet in just a minute. Let me work my way kind of over here a little farther. So then I skip a stitch, and into the next stitch, we do another half double crochet. Into this same stitch, half double crochet. So basically all I'm doing is skipping a stitch. Into the next, I'm placing 2 half double crochets. So skip 1, here's a half double, here's half double number 2. Very easy pattern. This is very beginner friendly. Skip a stitch, into the next, 2 half doubles. Skip 1, into the next, 2 half doubles. If you don't like making the half double, you could do a double crochet too. I think that would be fine. You know, just change it up, whatever. But you can kind of see it's a very, very simple texture. And that really allows that shiny yarn to kind of come through. And it's very subtle, very, very subtle. Now, eventually, I'll come back and I'm going to put a pretty edging on this to kind of make it stand out. But this is the center of the blanket I'm working on. So the way that we do a half double, we have the yarn on our hook here. We yarn over. I'm going to skip this one into this next one. You look for these 2 bars, and it's kind of hard to see. These are small stitches, but these are the 2 bars here. It kind of looks like a little V. And we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go underneath both those bars. Then I yarn over, grab up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. That is a half double. So we're going to do that again. Yarn over, go down into that same space, yarn over, grab a loop, pull it up. Teacher, she by profession was an elementary school teacher, so I do have teaching role model, right? But I'm not a crocheter by profession or anything, guys. I'm just a hobby crocheter. And I do what kind of makes sense to me, and I try to explain it in a way that it might make sense to others. And I just come on here because I like visiting with all my friends. And, I enjoy the social aspect of it. I'm in a very small town here in Northeast Alabama. We've got 5,000 people in our town. And, I don't have a lot of crochet friends or anything here. And I wouldn't have time before work to be going meeting up with a crochet group anyhow. But this is nice. Normally, for years and years, I have sat here and crocheted by myself every morning before work. I work remote in Arizona, so I have a time difference, and it allows me to have some time just to chill and crochet. I Right now there's only an hour time difference between Alabama and Arizona, so I usually hop off here about 8:30. I don't even know what time it is this morning, and I go to work at 9. I have to be on my PC ready to go by 9, and so anyhow, one of my girlfriends back in Arizona, one of my customer friends actually, she said, "You need to get on TikTok and go live and share with the world what you're doing." And I told her, I said, "Don't be overly dramatic. Nobody gives a rat's you know what about what I'm doing." And she goes, "Trust me, you just need to do this." And I shut her down for many, 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 many months. I just sat here in my living room and crocheted for years. That's what I've done. And so finally, she harped on me enough that I went live for the first time on TikTok on July 5th. I was super, super scared. I have never done anything like that before. It was really weird to be sitting in my living room talking to myself as I crocheted, because when I first came on, yeah, I was talking to myself. There wasn't, a big group of people that followed me or anything. And slowly but surely, people started uh, stopping by and asking questions. And some of you guys were here for the very first time. Um, and it was, you made it fun for me. It was really fun. And I enjoyed it. And so I kept coming back. And so now it's part of my little routine. I get up in the morning, I chat with all you guys. I do a different little project every day. No, I normally do a different project every day. I've always got a lot of stuff going on and in the works, but it's just my hobby. And the reason I keep doing it is because of all of you. You guys come on here and you support me. I love that you support each other too. The fact that it's not just about me, right? But you guys show up and you chat and you help answer questions and you're kind to each other. And I believe a lot of you have made friends with each other as well. And we have quite a lovely little group, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. And so you all have just become part of my life, I guess. And it's great. I really enjoy it and I appreciate it. And you guys keep bringing more people to the channel as well, right? You guys tap your screen and give likes and comments, and all of those help new followers to find the little chat group here. And more people just keep coming. And I tell Mama Wheeler all the time, I just am so almost dumbfounded because every day there's new people that find and follow. And it's very humbling. It's extremely humbling. I don't think of myself as an influencer or anything like that. I just am a little crocheter here in Alabama, and so every day there's a bunch of new followers, and it's just overwhelming, and it's really humbling. It's really truly humbling, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And the joy that you bring me is really a very cool thing. So thank you for that. Thank you for being part of my life and part of my lives every day. And thank you for, supporting each other as well. I know, like I said, I know a lot of you guys have become great friends and you follow each other on your TikToks. And feel free, guys, if you are looking for followers. I know some people are trying to grow their channels so they can, come on live as well. There's plenty of room for everybody. Social media is not a competition. My style is different than other people's styles. There's room for everybody. And not everybody comes on live at the same time. I don't see that as a threat or anything. I enjoy watching other crocheters and content creators, and I like watching all sorts of stuff. So I encourage that as well. If you guys are looking to grow your channel and you want to support each other, just spam the chat with yarn balls. I'll do a little bit here on my moderator account. Feel free to follow the moderator account too, guys. I'm trying to grow that. Um, I try to grow that channel in case something happens to this one. I'll have a backup account. Right now, I don't have a backup account, but you can watch me over on YouTube as well. I'm there live this morning, um, and so feel free to do that as well. I know there was a little glitch this morning over on YouTube. Sorry about the pause there. I wasn't paying attention, but it looked like I lost connection there for a little bit. So, anyhow, feel free to pick each other up and follow each other and support each other, and grow the crochet community. There's so many positive things that can come from crochet, whether you're using it for, me, it's very therapeutic and relaxing, and that's what I really love about it. So, anyhow, I hope you guys all enjoy it as well. And we have all different levels of crocheters here on the channel as well. So, and feel free to join the Discord. Also, there's a link in the link tree, but that's our chat server. So here's my hexagon cardigan, Betty. I started working on this on the live yesterday, and I'm really excited. Look, I made it to the dark purple this morning. It's starting to show through. So I'm going to keep cruising on this, but isn't it pretty? This yarn, this yarn I was doing yesterday. This is what it looks like. This is the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Worsted Gradient. And this is the colorway Purple Tones. I'm using a size I9 hook. I've never made a hexagon cardigan before. I'm following Passionate Kelsey. There's links on the link tree if you want to make a cardigan. But I started this, so I'm going to keep working on this. Maybe when I get a little farther along, maybe next week, I'll be able to show more of this on the live. But this yarn is incredibly soft. I've done the light blue of this. I think it was called Sky Tones. I've done the yellow tones. I have the hot pink. It's like a light pink into the hot pink. I haven't made anything with that. I have that in my stash as well. But this is super, super soft yarn. It's anti-pilling. And so if you are doing apparel type project, an anti-pilling yarn is really, really the way to go. So anyhow, yeah, hopefully I'll have more of that coming along. But thanks for asking, Betty. I think it's the yarn this. There's a link for this on the link tree also. Just go look for the hexagon cardigan. So every day that I come live, if you're a new follower, I update the link tree. If you're on TikTok, you click up here in the upper corner where there's the little dog. A bar will fly up the bottom and it'll click on the dog again. That'll take you to my profile. Once you get to the profile, you'll see a little bio about me being from Alabama. Below that, you'll see HTTPS link tree. And it'll have a link to this yarn, also to Passionate Kelsey of what we were working on yesterday. It has all of the projects that we did from before as well. So you can always go back and reference them. I know I come on early. You don't have to scramble and take notes or try to remember. You could just give me a follow and you can come back and reference it at any time, on the weekend or something and kind of follow up. But it's on the link tree. But this is what the yarn is: Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Worsted Gradient. And they have like a black and gray. They have teal. I have a teal blue that I haven't. It's more like a emerald greenish kind of color. And like I said, I have the pink. So there's a lot of different yarns available, but I really, really like it. It's incredibly soft, and the gradient change, right? I mean, they really nailed it. Like if you look at this, how it comes out to the purple, it is just so smooth. Some of the yarns, the gradient is a real abrupt. This Premier, I mean, they really nailed it, guys. You can see this is where I started, right here in the center. And this is how it's coming out. And so far, every single color that I've worked with, the gradient change has just been insanely perfect. So I thought it would be really pretty as a hexagon cardigan. And maybe I can't remember if there's a category in the fair for apparel, but I was thinking to myself, if I get the hexagon cardigan finished, I can maybe save it and put it in the fair next year as one of my entries. Might be kind of cool. Like I said, I've never made it before. It might turn out totally crappy. We'll see. I don't know. Passionate Kelsey's video is very thorough. She does a better tutorial than I ever can. And that's the thing with me, guys. If there's a place or a channel or a person that does great tutorials, I'm not going to try to redo their stuff. I have a job. I don't need to like make a buck off this, right? If Passionate Kelsey, her video is amazing. I'm not going to try to redo something like that. I'm just going to direct you and point you to say, watch this video, right? Mikey at the Crochet Crowd, his stuff is amazing. He's such a great teacher. I've learned so much. All these other people that I follow and watch, I make a lot of their free patterns. I'm not going to try to like hone in on their stuff. I just want you to go watch their stuff if you want to make it. Hooked by Robin, what guys know I love Crystal at Bag a Day Crochet. I mean, there's so many. Creative Grandma. I can't even. The list goes on and on and on of all of these creators that I just love and respect, and I've learned so much from. So I come on here and I just hope that maybe I can inspire somebody, right? Inspire somebody, like give back the way that other people have inspired me. Maybe you haven't crocheted for a long time and you're strolling by, and maybe you decide, wow, I want to pick up a crochet hook. I'll use Mama Wheeler as an example. Mama Wheeler hasn't crocheted for a long time. I learned to crochet from her. She has been, watching, and she's had some hand problems, but she made a ruffle uh, beanie that we worked on. It was a small project. It was a small step back, but I don't know if I encouraged her, but I think part of it is I encouraged her to pick back up her hook and maybe give it a little try again. And she, was able to do that. If I can do that for somebody else, dude, that just makes my day. I can't even explain like how much that makes my day. Maybe you see a yarn on here that I'm using and you're excited to try and make something with it. Maybe you see the gradient yarn and you're like, oh man, I really want to, make something with that. Like it inspires you, right? I see yarns and I get inspired. And so that's why I come on here. And so anyhow, that's kind of my little, bit. But for those that are new followers today, my name is April. I'll be on tomorrow again at 7 Central Time, but it is time for me to go off and do my real job. So I'm going to put in this last little stitch here, and I'm going to put in my stitch marker, and I'm going to call it a day as I go get ready to do my 9 to 5 job. But I hope you guys have all had a wonderful morning with our friends here. Thanks for stopping by and watching this cute little baby blanket. I'm sure I'll be working on this again maybe when I get to the border. But I hope you all have a marvelous day. Thanks again for all of your support and all the likes. We've had people watching over on YouTube. Over on TikTok, we've had 15,000 screen taps. Thank you guys so much for the support. I hope everybody has a marvelous day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.